So you've got your cruise booked. It's in the books. What are the next steps that you have to take now to make sure that this vacation is going to go off without a hitch? So your cruise is in the books. You've got your reservation down. You got your deposit made. You know where you're going, when you're going, what line you're going on, and you're ready to go. Your countdown is set. 300, 200, 150, wherever you're at where you made that reservation. What are the next steps that you need to do? What's the absolute next thing that you need to check off to make sure that when you get to that ship, you're ready to go? Well, I'm going to talk about those things today because I think that there are a few very important steps that are really going to make this right. But before I get there, I want to just take a minute, first of all, to thank you guys. We have crossed the 50 subscriber mark. We're inching our way up there towards that 100 subscriber goal that I've made. So I just want to make sure that I thank those of you that have subscribed. And just to remind the rest of you, if you don't mind, please just hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and just, if you really want to stay on top of all of the little tips and tricks that you can do to make sure that your cruises are going to be amazing every single time, make sure you subscribe so that you get my content and you know when it's out and you know when it's ready to go. And the second thing I want to do is just apologize. I know this video is coming out a little later than normal this week. I've had some very technical difficulties. I've got some new equipment. I'm upgrading to the 4K that you're going to see here today. And there was just some things I needed that I couldn't get. And with the Thanksgiving holiday and all of that, it just kind of set me behind. So again, I apologize for being a little bit late. I thank you guys for subscribing. I'm asking the rest of you guys to subscribe, give this video a like, and hit that notification bell so that you know when these videos are coming out. So anyway, what are the steps? Well, one of the first things that I think that you need to do is download the app for the cruise line that you're going on. Now, every single cruise line has a different name to their app. All of the apps open up the gateway for what you need to do to be prepared for the next steps. So for instance, with Royal Caribbean's app, you're going to get it. You're going to input your information. If you're not signed up, you're going to get signed up. Now that creates that account with Royal Caribbean. That's another step that's going to make it so much easier when you circle back around to finish the next steps that we're going to talk about. But get your account signed up. Get your app going. And with Royal Caribbean, as soon as you get your app going, you're going to link your reservation. It's going to show you your ship. It's going to show you your deck plans. It's going to show you some of the activities you can do. It's very minimal at this point, but it's going to give you some key points. It's going to tell you what date you can check in. So you'll constantly know when you need to be looking for that date. There's some safety tips on there. This is the gateway. This is the brain of your vacation, and you're going to have that. With Princess, they have a thing called Getting Ocean Ready. So you're going to get online. You're going to check in. You're going to give them the information. Again, you got to set up an account. But if this is your first cruise with that cruise line, of course, you're going to have to set up an account. And then as you get closer to your cruise, there's steps that you're going to follow. And Carnival, it's the same thing. And Disney, it's the same thing. And I'm going to show some screenshots here of what each of the interfaces look like so you kind of have an idea of what you're looking at. But when you get these apps and you're signed in, again, these are the brains. This is where you're going to be able to navigate what's going to happen on your cruise. But it's also the brains of navigating the what must be done of your cruise. The muster drill is going to be done in there for now. Your online check-in is going to be done in there. Your document uploads, everything that you need to do to be prepared to get on that ship. This is where it's going to be. This is where you're going to go. So make sure you download that cruise line's app, and that's going to ensure your embarkation process is smooth. The next thing you're going to want to do is make sure, we've talked about this before, and one of the tips and tricks about making sure that you're not making this mistake. We want to make sure that you're getting your plane tickets booked and getting in there the day before your cruise ship is going to leave. I cannot stress this enough. I know that a lot of people, and there's exceptions, I get it, and I'm not saying that everybody must do this every single time, but I am saying for the majority of us, when we cruise, if we're flying, especially like me, I have to fly cross country to get to my cruise ports, I want to make sure it's the day before. then the next thing that I'm going to do is get my hotel or Airbnb booked. So when I get those booked, a lot of times what I do is I look for refundable rates. I look for rates that are going to allow me to refund it up until about 3-4 days before my stay. And the reason I do this is because I check constantly to see where the rates are at. If they went down, I cancel and rebook. I've saved hundreds of dollars doing this. And I've also saved hundreds of dollars because I booked and the prices just kept going up. So you could save it on both ends. You could save it because you locked in that price and they went up after, or you could do it because you locked in a price that you thought was going to be a fair price. But then as time went on, demand didn't grow and the price of that hotel dropped a little, and I've been able to rebook. So I always make sure that I book that refundable rate. So find the hotel and find a hotel that's convenient. A lot of cruise ports, they'll offer you a shuttle. That shuttle is going to cost you some money from the hotel to the cruise port. I don't really pay that much attention to that. I prefer an Uber. I'm going to jump in an Uber. I want to be on my timeline. I don't want to be waiting for half hours or hours whenever the shuttle is running. Plus, they're going to charge you anyway. Sometimes it is definitely just cheaper to go with an Uber. I keep that in mind. If I need to get transportation to the cruise port, I want to be in a hotel that's kind of closer to the cruise port. So, and Fort Lauderdale and Miami are phenomenal. You can find hotels that are really close to where the cruises leave from. And so you could be kind of central. You get off the airplane, especially Fort Lauderdale. You get off the airplane, you find a hotel that's kind of right next to the airport and right next to the cruise port. A lot of hotels still do offer the free shuttle from the airport to the hotel. And some of them even offer it if you want to go to an attraction, but those are hard to find. I don't really dig too much into that. I just want something that's close to the cruise port. And so that that next morning when I wake up and I'm ready to get the ship, I could get an Uber, I could jump in. It's not going to offset any costs. You know, if you book a hotel that's too far out and then you got to get transportation to the port because you saved $50 at that hotel, well, you might be spending that on Ubers now. So you really got to keep those things in mind. I like to book something that's like a value-oriented hotel that is definitely close to the port. So keep that in mind. My third suggestion for you when you're getting ready and you've got that cruise booked, get to know your port of calls. Where are you going? What's your stops? What time are you there? On my upcoming Odyssey of the Seas cruise, and I know that a lot of the cruises that are going now, we get to Aruba at 11 a.m. and we don't leave till 11 p.m. So we have a late afternoon sunset stop. We get to experience the sunset on the beach or wherever we want to. That was an important factor to know. You know, a lot of cruise stops are 8 to 5, 9 to 6, 10 to 7. You want to know, what do I get to experience in that time? If it's an 8 to 5 cruise stop, are the shops going to be? Are you a shopper? Are the shops even going to be open? Is it worth rushing off the ship? Maybe it means you get to squeeze in an excursion before the shops open, and you can kind of fit both of those things in. I mean, that's fantastic, right? If you're an adventurer, maybe getting off the ship early that day is the way to go because a lot of the other cruise passengers haven't gotten off the ship, and they're in resting, and you're going to hit a beach, or maybe you're going to find a hike, or maybe who knows, maybe your adventure, maybe you got an ATV plan, and then you get some beach time after because you're an early riser and you're an adventurous and you want to get out there and you want to soak up as much of the island as possible. Are you looking at cruise ship excursions? Are you looking at independent excursions? Are there reputable companies in the port that you're going to that are going to offer independent excursions that guarantee you to be back on the ship on time? Is it a private island? Are you going to Royal Caribbean's Labadee? Are you going to Coco Cay? Are you going to Norwegian's private island? If you're going to one of these islands, are you prepared that really is just going to be a beach day or can be just a beach day? Or do you want to book an excursion that day? Are you looking to do some jet skiing? Is that the best day to do it? Is it going to just be an adventure jet skiing? Or is it better to go jet skiing on another island where it's not a cruise company excursion? And again, we've talked about this in the other videos. You don't need to plan. I'm not saying that you have to have like every minute of each stop planned, but what I am saying is get to know those stops. know a little bit about each one and kind of have an idea about what you're going to do. On this upcoming Odyssey cruise, we're going to wing it. We're going to see what we can do, and then I'm going to report back to you guys to let you know exactly how we worked these port stops. Was it worth just winging? Should we have planned more? Was it perfect? Did we know enough about what we wanted to do going in without having plans? This is something that I'm going to bring to you guys because I think this is important. I hear this question a lot. What do I do at each of these stops? And I think this series of questions that I'm going to answer is going to be able to help you guys plan your port stops better. Leave me a comment down below and let me know, what do you guys do when you go on these cruises? Do you meticulously plan out every port? Do you know exactly what you're going to do? Are you already doing what I said and learning the ports but not planning the ports? If you're a new cruiser, what are your questions? What are your questions about the ports? Do you have some questions? Leave me a comment below and let me know. Let me know if there's something that I can help you with and answer. I'm really curious to get your guys' thoughts when it comes to cruise stop. Make sure you're learning about those cruise stops that you're going to have on your upcoming cruise. Another thing that you can do that can really help you be prepared for your cruise is find the Facebook group. And I know this may be too much for some, and maybe some people aren't on Facebook. Maybe you guys think I'm nuts for even suggesting this, but I really think that it's a valuable resource for you to be able to have a good feel for, one, the people that are going to be on your ship, but it also keeps you in the loop on things that are going on. I can tell you that in the Facebook groups and on Cruise Critic, I've been able to get deals. I've been able to get reservations. I've been able to get in on things because as a community, everybody is already looking at the app. They're looking at what's available. They're looking at what the cruise line's offering. So as soon as one person sees something that they think might be interesting to the group, they're already in there posting it saying, hey, just so you know, these reservations are available. Hey, just so you know, this package dropped to this price. And just having that group mentality, that group think around things that might be in common to everyone, it really helps you capture some of the best deals that you're going to find. And trust me, I was one of the people that was privy to a Royal Caribbean blooper that I wish I would have gotten to use, but I never got to use it, but many people did. And that was the really, really cheap drink package. But I learned that in my Facebook group. I learned that because my Facebook group posted that was happening, and I was able to jump on it like that. Facebook groups may be your thing. They may not be your thing. I don't know. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Am I out to lunch on the Facebook thing? I really think it's a valuable resource, and I really think that more people should be paying attention to those Facebook groups to help them really in their planning process for the cruise. And the last thing that I think that you really need to do, again, these are things that you just must do in order to get on the cruise ship and that are going to really improve your embarkation process and your onboard process by having done these before you get on the cruise ship. And the last thing, and this is the must do, check your documentation. Are your passports not expiring in the next 6 months from your sailing? So if you're going on a cruise in December of 2023, make sure that passport isn't expiring before May of 2024. There's a lot of places that require that passport to be extended by that time, by 6 months. If you're flying after May of 2023, make sure you have a passport or a real ID. I think it might actually happen for reals this time. They've been pushing it for years. They've been pushing it back. But in order to fly after May of 2023, it sounds like you're going to need your real ID or a passport. And then that's going to switch for the cruises as well. They're going to require a real ID and a birth certificate if that's the route you go. It's not my recommended route, but it is a route that you can use to sail. So make sure you check that documentation. Well, guys, that's what I got for you today. Those are the tips and tricks that I got for you in order to make your pre-cruise countdown worthwhile. What steps you need to take, what processes you need to be, and what things you need to check in order to make sure that your cruise is going to go off without a hitch. And I thank you guys for tuning in today. Hit that subscribe button so you guys could be ready for more tips like this that I'm bringing you in order to make your vacations as smooth as possible. And again, hit that thumbs up if you like this content. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think about cruise documentation. Should you get the real ID? Do you think it's really going to happen this time? And thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you out there just out exploring.